So I'm Otto Niere, I'm the product manager, and I'm leading the product definition group. That's a body in the NDS Association, standardization body. Um, it's designed for members. Members can delegate their product guys into this group, and we can jointly work on product ideas. We can define what is the relevance of certain topics to NDS and why is it important. And based on that, we define a roadmap and try to maintain that roadmap. Let me quickly start on the achievement since the last NDS conference. So usually I always talk about the plans for the future, but let me now also uh, introduce what we've done in the last year. So as you can see, um, we've been working on three main topics. One of the NDS developer experience, it's about how we can make the NDS users' life better. And then autonomous mobility, we identified several topics that we think is relevant and important. And finally, in safe mobility space. So let me quickly go through some of these items. First one is the evaluation service. I think that was one of the biggest achievement last year. We in the product definition group worked on it almost half a year, defining all the guidelines because that's meant for members. And for members who would like to offer services, we defined a geographical and feature coverage guideline, which modules, which versions are prioritized, and also the compensation scheme, because we would like to recognize our members who are willing and put effort into it. Um, and why I'm asked Olena about it, because when we designed these evaluation services, we thought only on smart layer services, but it turned out that it would make sense probably to offer also application services to the members for evaluation. We got some survey result on the sample maps when we started the survey a month ago. At that time, only here and one energy service was available. And so far, 45% of the respondents mentioned that they are already using it frequently. An overview on that's already presented by Fabian as well. So just quickly go through it right now. We have evaluation service from here, 12 tiles from Munich, energy services, it was presented by Martin, and then finally the Zenrin service. We really appreciate that Zenrin provided HD map, real world HD map service now. And the next step is TomTom. They will provide additional services from US and Germany and Italy samples, not just road. I mean, when it comes to use cases, it's not just a basic ADAS use case, but also IVI, routing, guidance, and horizon use cases. And finally, here also mentioned that they are willing to extend the existing service coverage with additional geographical regions and also supporting additional use cases. AI Assist, the AI chatbot, so it was initiated in a PDG, I think more than a year ago. Um, we wanted to provide a better service, better support to the engineers. So nowadays the engineers are socialized on 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 AI tools. Um, they won't use Google search anymore. They simply want to get um, an answer that is tailored to their question. Um, and our assumption was that the NDS users would like to get the same user experience when it comes to using NDS Live Developer Portal. And now finally it's available, it's released, but when we started the survey a month ago, it wasn't released yet. Only some selected members had the chance to check the prototypes. The result is that the members seems they are preferring both AI and human support. It's because of they are some of them already working on commercial projects, so they would like to rely also on human support. But when it comes to the evaluators, they highly appreciate if we make this available to them. Open Drive Converter, um, that's the way of like the top-down approach what we represent in the product definition group. There is an idea or a request from a member, and this particular converter was also requested one of the member. But this is a big investment. We need to understand, we need to justify why NDS should offer a converter service. So that's why this went to the PTG. We worked on the product requirements documents. We conducted several research. And based on that, we made a recommendation for the decision body of the NDS Association. And then the decision was made to issue an RFQ. So we worked on the RFQ as well. And we already have some insights from the survey. So um, the the converter itself is not yet available on the developer portal. I stated that it's already available. It will be soon available on the developer portal. So far, it was released only for the release distribution list. So those who are not subscribed, they probably were not aware of that. And NDS is working on such a converter. We also asked the evaluators whether they would like to interested getting access, getting test account for that, and it seems half of the respondents would be really appreciate if we make this available for evaluators as well. NDS Live extensibility, it's about what is not in the scope of NDS Live, and what about if someone brings an idea, brings the content, and how they can fit into the NDS Live ecosystem. And the reason for why we've worked on such a document in the NDS Live is what is the NDS context and why it's important. That was also defined in NDS Classic, and the plan is that it will be available in the user guide, which means whatever will be available in the user guide, it will be trained also used for training the AI chatbot. It's another interesting topic that was initiated in the PDG. This is a kind of borderline topic in NDS. So whenever it comes to something that is related to the ODD, it can lead to an endless discussion on a working group level. So it's better to start such a topic in a PDG. Then we define the product requirements, and again we conducted a survey among the members. What do you think about standardizing such a layer in NDS? Because at the time earlier we thought it's not in the scope of NDS Live, and based on the survey result, um, we made a recommendation for the decision body of the NDS Association, and then the decision was made to let's standardize it, and then it went further. So technical committee started a task force. Now it's on a working group level. Yeah. Data security. It's another interesting topic. Why is it as a product manager, it's always asking what is the relevance and why it's important for us. The relevance is cybersecurity regulations. It's not a EU regulation, it's an UNEC, which means it requires for vehicle type approval, not just in Europe, but also in South Korea, in Japan. And why is it important? Why is it urgent? Because it's already in effect. I mean, the regulation itself. What's our role in the product definition group? We wanted to understand the impact of these regulations on the specification, and we would like to create a kind of user guide that later on can be used for training the chatbot as well. So if a user came that, oh, I need to meet certain cybersecurity regulation, please tell me how can I use NDS Live for that? And then we have encryption, we have signatures, but in the specification there is no reasoning why or the purpose how to use it, or why the users needs to implement this kind of special features in NDS Live. Safety-related traffic information, it was mentioned by Olena. This is getting quite important for the industry. It's mainly driven by European NCAP assessment protocol. And we want to understand how these features are supported in the specification. Are there any gaps? It will be available in the user guide soon. Map relevance of ADAS and AD space. We went from level 0 to level 4, and we listed all the ISO standardized features in this domain. And we wanted to understand the map relevance of each function with the purpose to have a document, a product document about it. We plan to release a kind of white paper and also put it into the user guide. So if a user wants to implement a specific use case like automatic lane change, then the user can simply ask the chatbot, what kind of layers do I need to that? And for that, we will need to train the chatbot based on that document. Data privacy, that's also an interesting topic. Whenever a map data is used by the car and the data is streamed from an external service, there is also a question to be raised. Are there any data privacy considerations? And when you're implementing an NDS Live service, you might be faced this question by your customers. Please prove that the service that you implement is meeting the GDPR requirements. So that's why we started working on this document. User guide will be available soon. Autonomous tracking, it was also on our roadmap for this year. The reason for that, the importance and urgency, it turned out that autonomous tracking is one of the level 4 use case which is commercially viable. And we've seen it also at the CES this year that more and more companies are moving to the autonomous tracking space. What we did in the product group, we selected all the relevant use cases. We identified what is the most relevant for us in NDS Live to move forward. That's what we highlighted in red. European NCAP safety protocol, they announced recently an update in the assessment protocol. So we immediately started analyzing the specification, the protocol, what are the relevance for our specification, what are the new requirements. And it turned out that European NCAP is introducing lane level speed limit scoring and additional requirements regarding local hazards, and the protocol now explicitly stating that or awarding or rewarding if the map data, the speed limit attributes are streamed to the vehicle. Again, we would like to make it available as a user guide, so to help our user community to understand how to meet European NCAP regulations. Right, the last topic that we've been working recently, that's the survey. And survey is a very important part of the product manager's work. We would like to understand what are the needs of our members. And also, we wanted to understand it from evaluator point of view. The service is already done. We got quite a lot of feedback, and Some of them I incorporated or already used in these slides, and some of them will be derived in a working group levels on action items. Okay, how we work on a roadmap, how we define the priorities ahead. First is the market trends. For that, we try to attend as much conferences as possible, not just automotive conferences, but also tech conferences. We got better insight than just browsing internet. The second most important part is we want to understand the needs of our members, so that's why we're conducting surveys. And then in the PDG group, in the product group, we try to analyze these trends and discuss how to use it in the NDS Live context. These are the main focus areas in the PDG uh, that we use for categorizing the key activities, the key product topics. Let me start with the autonomous mobility, the key market trends. I think some of them is quite obvious for most of us. When I was attending the CES, I've seen already this purpose-built level 4 cars driving in the streets, in the traffic. They don't have any driving seats, so it's not a Waymo like robotaxi. It's really a purpose built without driving seat, so it's there. And the L for trucks, L for industrial use case is also there. So we wanted to understand the map implication on this trend, and then we create kind of cards. What are the future map capabilities that we need to focus on in the PDG? And we decided let's focus on level 4 autonomy because it's coming. That's the next big thing. It includes also the urban use case. It was mentioned by Ben that the urban features are very important, and we need to understand how to use NDS Live in a NDS autonomy in the urban environment. Crowdsource feedback loop, that's about it's a challenging topic for NDS because it's when we designed NDS, it wasn't in the scope at all. It's still not in the scope, but we would like to challenge it. It does not mean that what I'm listing here will be automatically part of the specification, but what we do, we would like to understand its context to NDS Live. And since NDS Live will be or already used by the vehicle understand the service interface, then why don't use the same interface for uploading the server derived map information? So that's the idea behind it. Onboard HD map generation, that's similar if vehicle can be used external HD map, and also maybe an HD map that is generated by the vehicle. And what about if we use the same interface to generate that map in the car? Closed loop simulation support. It's about the NDS Live OpenDrive converter, but it's a little bit more broader. We would like to understand the further requirements of our members, and maybe support not just the OpenDrive exchange format, but other formats as well. IVI. It's about the in-cabin user experience. The recent trend is based on the Shanghai Auto event a month ago that the vehicle is not just anymore from driving from A to B. It's more about entertainment. So people just spending their time in the vehicle, and so IVI is getting more important than in the future. And again, we would like to understand its map context. So we identified certain items like the conversational, so the AI navigation. That's one of the biggest trend recently in IVI. And here we would like to understand how NDS Live interface can support the requirement for AI voice assistant. The rest is, I think, quite obvious. Software-defined vehicle, that's a clear trend. Um, when I was attending the CES, I've seen the software-defined vehicle was the buzzword in most of the conferences topics and also in the exhibition, because that's the biggest challenge right now for the automotive industry. And we would like to understand how NDS Live can be used in the SDV context. The way how we define NDS Live is a kind of SDV native service interface, but we would like to understand better if there are any gaps, or how we, NDS specification, can better support the needs for the software-defined vehicle transition. In vehicle map distribution, it's about whenever the map is already provisioned to the car, what about using the same service interface to distribute the map inside the car? Like the TomTom mentioned, they are using ADASYS V3. But what about if you use the same NDS Live interface to distribute the same dice or the same data to the ECUs directly? So it's about also challenging a little bit the scope of NDS Live. E-mobility, I think the trend is quite obvious for most of us. We had some topics in the past in the e-mobility. Based on the assessment, there are some gaps still in the specification that we need to fill. So it's better to still keep our eyes on the e-mobility topic and try to understand what are still missing to provide to meet all the requirements from the industry. Safe mobility, it's about user, but also about meeting regulation and assessment protocols, which is mainly driven the safe mobility. Here, what we defined is we would like to understand the whole landscape of the regulatory requirements that has map context. It can be EU regulation, UNEC regulation, assessment protocol, or just some safety guidelines. Smart mobility, um, it's about CITS, V2X, mobility as a service. I'm attending CITS congresses quite regularly, so it's quite interesting topic, and there are some items that is related to the map used by the vehicle. CITS integration, like it was mentioned also in the Ben's presentation, that traffic light is getting quite important for the vehicle. Needs to know which lane relates to which traffic light, and when the next traffic light phase is coming. And that's where we need integration with the CITS, and we need to make sure that the CITS word and NDS Live specification is somehow connected, and so on. Good. So these cards were actually part of the survey, and we asked for the importance and for the urgency of these map data capabilities. And here are the ranks based on the feedback, and we use it for defining the roadmap, the high-level roadmap. So this is how it currently looks like. These are not just the topic that we will focus in the future, but these are the main map data capabilities. It does not automatically means that we implement all of them, but we will challenge the LDS specification. Okay, and my time is over. Right. And one of my last slide. So we recently decided to reopen the survey. The reason for that, because yesterday we had this tech meeting, and it turned out that only a few of the participants knew about this survey. And based on the statistics, the insight, there are many users started opened the survey, started answering questions, but at the end they didn't submit. So we made some lessons learned. We would like to implement it and reopen it from next week on, and that will be announced probably beginning of next week. So thanks for listening to my presentation. If you would like to be part of this product definition group, this is how you can join. We have bi-weekly meetings, and yeah, looking forward to welcoming new members in the product definition group. Thank you.